Australian Frothies, Danaan and Daggy back again to get stuck into round 16, the abbreviated round. As we head towards Origin, we'll have a look at game 2 a bit later on as well. How's the new dad going?
Yeah, doing well, mate. Doing well. The little one, she's nice and quiet majority of the time.
Which is which is exciting for you. That's good.
Exactly. Being able to sleep. So yeah,
eating,
let's hope this
shitting,
continues.
sleeping, doing all the good things.
That's it.
Happy days. All went well?
Yeah, I guess so. They're both doing well now. That's the main thing.
Perfect. And have you got in between the naps when you can? Have you got to see much of the footy this week?
Yeah. Everything except the Bulldogs Roosters game I missed. It was the oldest 5th birthday, and so we took him 10-pin bowling with some friends and family. So I missed that, but other than that, I've seen the highlights, but didn't watch the 3 minutes doesn't tell the whole story.
That's absolutely true. I was just touching a bit of news before we get into the recap. Judiciary wise, Junior Palgo out of that game. Took a 4-game early plea. And across the rest of the week, I think there was 10 fines given out for the various tackles here and there. Not a great deal going apart from that. And signing news officially, Damien Cook, all parties have confirmed he's going back to the Dragons for the next 2 years. And Penrith re-signed 5 of their top stars, I guess, on extended contracts. But again, not a lot going on. There was some mail about today that Satili Tupouniua has met with the Bulldogs, I believe. So see what happens there. Injury-wise, Sean Johnson, hamstring, is apparently being monitored again, for better or worse. We'll see where that goes. And Connor Tracy on the back of the Ponga. High shot, Jack Bostock and Jesse McLean all under the 11-day stand-down for concussions. Jaden Campbell also has been sent for some scans on a hand after his impressive performance the other day. Any other news caught your eye over the last?
Just before we started, Tyrone Peachy's apparently announced his retirement from the NRL.
Oh, there you go. All the best. Yeah. Effective end of the season, or?
Yeah, by the looks of it, yeah, he'll be finishing up at the end of the season. And the other one that I saw over the weekend was apparently the Raiders are after your mate Stefano.
Oh, I had heard that, but we'll see where the twist. Well,
I didn't want to bring you down after the high you've been on.
Well, it's funny what happens when you start winning games. All of a sudden, people are less inclined to walk out the door as well. But we'll see. Fingers crossed. He's had put together 2 really good games, actually. But we'll see. I'm sure there's quite a few clubs after Stefano.
Top level shithousery yesterday when he trampled over the top of one of those Raiders players and then grabbed him and pulled him down as he was going down.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Good from you, Steph. We'll get to that game a bit later on. But yeah, not a great deal going on, apart from we'll get to Origin later as well. We may as well get into it. Thursday night, in fact. Well, Thursday was 14-10, the under-19s.
That was Friday. Oh, yeah. Are you going to the under-19s?
We don't need to just reading out the score, and I'll just say that the Bunker had another outstanding night in that game too, so you go, girl. 30-24 was Friday night. Oh, well, Matt Arthur looked pretty good in that game, actually. I will say.
He did. How did the Eels lose him, yeah?
They'll find a way. Depends where Brad ends up, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
And the young centre, Michael Gabriel, he was pretty impressive as well, I thought. He was the one that Bulldogs kept over Alamote. Anyway, 30-24. Storm over the Dolphins. I thought it was a cracking game of footy, one of the better games of the year, to be honest. Very entertaining. What do you take away from this one?
Is Jerome Hughes currently the most informed player in the comp?
Most informed half, I'd say.
Yeah.
In fact, you'd probably argue the 2 informed halves played in this game in terms of halfbacks.
Potentially. Yeah. I think he just doesn't get spoken about because he's a Kiwi and he's from Melbourne.
Yeah.
If he was, playing for a Sydney side or Brisbane side, there'd be talks that he's the best half in the comp right now, especially if he was in Origin contention.
I wouldn't argue with it. He's the form 7, definitely. I thought he was fantastic again. And it's amazing what happens when you're in form and just bounce of the ball goes your way. Little things like that just start happening for you. But his support play is still fantastic. His kicking game is pretty much as good as anyone's, especially short, or attacking, I should say. And he's just throwing some lovely, apart from the one that nearly cost him the game, some lovely cutout balls. And yeah, I think he's been great. I think he's been. I don't know how many times we've given him 3 points in the last month, but it would be shocked if it wasn't at least 3 out of the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I got a feeling he'll be right up there in the Dally M vote, that's for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's. I know Nico started on fire and they seemed to give him 6 points every week, but Hughes will definitely make it an interesting challenge come season end.
Well, there's a lack of opposition, really. Like, who else is around that's been playing consistently every week and getting points?
DCE doesn't rack up the points. Cleary's been injured. Moses has been injured.
Yeah.
No other half really gets points week in, week out for their team.
Appy's, Tiger's best player most weeks, but they don't win enough to get him points. Just trying to think who else through the ranks.
Teddy might be getting some good points.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Teddy, and because he would have got points again this week.
Haas and Carrigan would constantly be getting points, but
Sam Walker probably picks up cheapies here and there.
Yeah, that's it. So it'll be interesting.
Good shout. Actually, there's probably a fair Quinella, Teddy, and Jerome Hughes.
Could be. Yeah. Could be. And it wouldn't surprise me if Nico was top 3. That's your top 3 by season's end.
We saw it. End of the day, my biggest take from this game is I thought, as I said, it was a good game. I thought this was probably a top 4 game. I don't think Dolphins can be disgraced by any means.
Definitely not.
And I think even Wayne Bennett said after the game that they just ran out of time, more than got beat. And
losing Bostock, they lost a winger and they didn't have a back on the bench.
Yes, and we've seen it. We see how many blowouts. I've talked about it before. How many blowouts do we get when we lose an edge player, and they don't replace them? We've seen Penrith get touched up when they had to reshuffle.
That's it.
So I thought they did a great job. I thought you did a pretty good job out in the wing. Probably the biggest casualty was Herbie. They had to move him to the other side, and he was all at sea out there on Warbrick, who actually had almost his best game of first grade, I'd say.
I was going to say it was his best game.
Yeah.
The other, Warbrick's best game, I think it was comfortable. As you mentioned earlier, Katoa is starting to show those glimpses that had been spoken about as he was coming through the junior ranks. And the other one I had for this game, Trey Fuller.
Yes.
He's too good, I think, to be playing reserve grade.
Yeah. He was outstanding.
Week in, week out.
He nearly dragged them back into this game at the end there. A couple.
How do you make a spot for him? He might get something now with the hammer coming back. Bostock's out for so he probably gets a wing spot.
Yeah.
But you can't drop any of that back 5 for him. So what do you do? Pay him
I reckon because Wayne actually said it wasn't necessarily by choice. They didn't have utility. They said everyone else was injured, so he could end up getting that 14 spot unless Averillo takes it maybe. But I think you could end up making a case that he should have that 14 spot, or like I said, Averillo plays 14 and maybe Hammer plays it in the centres.
Yeah, so he does seem like a talent. He's only played a handful of games, but he looks like he's got it.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. I thought Nicarima looked dangerous. He was their, I guess, main point of attack for a lot of it, and did well at digging into the line. And also for the Dolphins, I thought Mark Nichols had a good game, getting through a fair bit of work. They all had to play a bit longer stints than normal. But I think if nothing else, look, I tipped the Dolphins, and it was the operation was a success, but the patient died. I thought they were almost a better team for an hour.
Yeah, I had the Dolphins. It was one of those games. If they'd won, you wouldn't say they didn't deserve it.
100%. In terms of Melbourne, it was great to see Pappenhausen back, and he had probably defensively had a better game than it statistically it reads. I thought a couple of try-saving tackles, scored a try, and looked pretty good. And they've got a pretty good run home, so I think he'll be fine for the next 6 weeks or so. Tyron Wishart, another great game as well. Able to conjure up some points in a cutout ball when it didn't quite go to plan. And the back row, again, Sean Bloor keeps building into what he's doing. Him and Katoa are very, very dangerous, but really good game. As my takeaway from this was that it was essentially a top 4 game, I thought.
Yeah, I think so. Once these two teams are got their full complement of players, it'd be, it's a type of game you expect to see in September.
Anything else catch your eye out of this one?
Not really. One of the things I did notice, who was the Storm hooker? Garlic.
Garlic, his
Yes,
service, yeah, he struggled at times with his service,
he
didn't he?
struggled, and I don't think he took a run all game.
No.
Which, so that's just, again, as I was saying, both teams were missing players, but I thought that was definitely Melbourne's biggest thing, that they were missing Grant and
Yeah.
that service. He's got a kicking option out of dummy half. He runs, and obviously his service is one of the best in the game. So I thought that was pretty evident that it wasn't there.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a few times he got some filthy looks off Hughes on the back of some of that service. TPJ's comeback was, I thought, he looked all right. He's enormous, and I don't know if it's because I almost feel like a lot of the comps slimmed down a lot the way the modern game is, and he just
Yeah,
it's funny how often these bigger players just look huge. Him, Luciano, some weeks, obviously Nelson, but even Nelson slimmed down a bit to what he was, but he just looked enormous. He got through a fair bit of work too by necessity when they stuffed up the HI at the end, and I thought he'll be better for the run and gives him a nice point of difference off the bench, I think.
yeah, definitely. He could definitely turn into like that Spencer Leniu type role
Mm.
for them. Just come on and just try and just go crazy. 15 minutes, barge over as many as you can,
Yeah.
whack as many blokes as possible.
And he just he was always looking for that offload. So, but yeah, said end of the day, good game. And the problem is Dolphins have now lost 3 of the last 4. I don't think that's been completely fair. They probably could have won a couple of those, but they'll be fine. I think they're not going to gas out like they did last year. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't believe so. They're like 24 points against Melbourne. It's most teams are happy to get that. Like it doesn't happen that often. It's almost like it's the lower teams, like when they lost to the Raiders.
Yeah.
It's those type of games that they need to make sure that they're winning.
Yeah.
They're always in the fight against the top teams, but they sort of let it slip some weeks against the lower sides, and it's cost them a couple of wins.
100%. I assume we're going to give Hughes man of the match here on the back of his effort. And then I sort of had Warbrick, Fuller, Katoa in and around the rest of the points. How do you see this?
Well, so I had Hughes, and then I had Wishart, Warbrick, and Fuller fighting it out for the rest. Fuller was by far the best for the Dolphins.
Yeah,
I believe.
Let's go.
Wishart had an amazing game, and as we said, Warbrick probably had the best game of his career.
Let's go 2 to Fuller and 1 to Warbrick, but very unlucky Wishart again, putting together a great season actually. Saturday kicked off 66-6. Who saw this coming, Danaan? Were Titans toweling the Warriors?
Not I.
No, nor did many others. But
that was what's happened to the Wires?
You know the problem with it? They lost all the young blood that's been carrying for the last month. They brought back some of the old stages, and
that's it.
It wasn't there. They were woeful. Like there was no physicality. They weren't interested in contesting much at all. The blokes falling off tackles, shirt grabbing, doing all the wrong things, and Titans had a field day.
Yeah, it was insane, and they just couldn't stop it. It was arguably it's the Titans' greatest performance in their club's history.
Mm.
I think it is the most points they've ever scored. So only let one try in, 60-point margin. They just dominated on every aspect of the game.
It's fantastic. I know Jaden Campbell got 170 Supercoach points and kicked 11 from 11. Kieran Foran was outstanding. I thought he was brilliant in this game.
He
took the line on. Everything he touched
set the game
up.
up.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's going to be a tough one to split the points here when there was 7 Titans that are probably in the running for some points here. Like Khan Pereira scored 4 tries. Sini seems like a great fullback that they've got coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Fermor is probably in career best form. As you said, Jaden Campbell, Kieran Foran, like the list just went on. They just... My biggest takeaway is how do they score 11 tries and David Fifita doesn't score 1?
Oh, that's true. And he actually had a good game. He didn't do anything wrong. Just didn't score a try.
Yeah, he just didn't score. He just didn't score a try.
They've found a pretty good balance with what they're doing with Verrills and Randall. And their forwards are starting to find some good form. They didn't have Mo here, but that back row, yeah, as you said, Fermor, it's probably been about the last 6 weeks. He's just really hit his straps. I know he came back from injury and off a long layout, but I think he's really hit his straps. And they just become a scary strike side because they can lay that platform and then they've just got so much pace out wide. Now Keeney's there, Carl Pereira and Jaden Campbell, and you could throw AJ Brimson back in the next couple of weeks too. So good signs from Hetty. Sometimes when you get these blowouts, I don't know what it really means, but
Well, who were they? Who were the Warriors missing other than Barnett? Capel.
Capel, that's it. And they
That
got
was
back
like
Johnson, they got back RTS.
like
Oh, yeah, Dylan Walker played back row. Was there another back rower missing? No, they're all there.
so. I don't know. I don't know what the Warriors can do. They just they were missing Dallin. He was suspended.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I just no one saw this coming. Not even the most the biggest Titans fan in the game didn't
No.
see this coming.
No.
Yeah, it was complete blowout. And as you said earlier, it's they had all these old players, like the older stock coming back, and they've just failed. It's what do? Do they drop Johnson? Is RTS past it? Fanua Blake hasn't played well since he got that one game in club suspension a few weeks back. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't have an answer. All I know is I don't think they can make the finals now. I'm just looking at now, they're only a win ahead of the Rabbitohs, 2 wins ahead of the bottom 3 teams there. And
yeah,
I think got Brisbane this week, who are another concern, but we'll worry about that later. I don't have an answer. I think you've just got to treat them as you treated them 2 years ago, and you almost just can't tip them.
They're a bad team that will win occasionally.
Yeah, I think you just. I'll probably unless they're playing someone beneath them, and possibly even Manly, who are gone. You just don't tip them, and if they beat you, you just go, "Oh, well, they beat us this week," until something changes.
Yeah,
I almost think their season peaked in that Panthers game. As for the Titans, they're going okay. I don't think they're going to trouble too many top 6 teams, but when you got that much strike and pace, you're always in the game. But they've always been able to score points. It's just been the defensive resolve, and they're finally starting to get. I reckon another 4 to 6 weeks. Last 4 to 6 weeks, they've sort of got that under control as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what Hasler would have been happiest with, the fact they only let him 1 try.
Anything else from here, really? Odd sort of games to analyse some of these, but yeah.
Good luck. Just I don't know how you're gonna split. As I said, Sini could have got 3. Campro with 4 tries. Jaden Campbell. I think it all started on the back of Foreign.
Yeah, I was
giving
Foreign 3, and I was looking towards Campbell 2, and then either the fullback or Carl Pereira for the 1. I suppose 4 tries is a fair effort.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yep, 1 to Carl Pereira. 26-8, the game Danaan missed out on a lot. Interesting game. 26-8 Roosters over the Bulldogs. Bulldogs were in this for a while. I wouldn't say they were lapped at all, but ultimately it was in the wet. Class just prevailed, and Sam Walker just had an absolutely fantastic day. Just pulled the strings. A lot of short kicking, a lot of clever set restarts. I think he had 4 try assists. So he was involved in every single one of them. I just thought he was brilliant. But for me, it was the middle in greasy conditions where you're in this fight and you sort of know what Bulldogs bring to the table. Terrell May played 80 minutes, made 40 tackles and 200 plus running meters, and I thought he just led the way for the Chooks. And on the back of that, Teddy and Sam Walker chimed in and did their bit behind him. I hate using cliches, but I just class prevailed in the end. They were just the team with a bit more strike on the night, and probably the better game controlling half in the conditions. Heading the right way in terms of when they're able to bring in the Nat Butcher on the edge there instead of Angus. He had a good game. Victor Radley again going really well on the edge, and they got a fair bit out of the bench as well. Blake Steep scored his first try. The usual suspects there coming on and getting through their work. Wong and Co. Dom Young, Manu did what they had to do. It wasn't these next two games that weren't particularly, riveting apart from the fact it was torrential rain and it was a bit of an arm wrestle for bits of it. For the Bulldogs, Carraz was enormous again. I thought he was sensational. I think he turned up. I saw it actually in Supercoach for those that play that again, which is a fair effort.
I'm looking at bringing him in.
I pretty much
He
bought him
just
today.
even when he doesn't score a try, he just seems to he does a lot of the dirty work.
Yeah, and especially I think just getting hands on the ball at centre isn't a bad thing.
Yeah. That's it. Even when they don't, as I said, I only watch some of the highlights, and he just gets involved as much as possible for a centre can.
Yeah, well, him and Skelton got through, and Blake Wilson probably tried their asses off and just outmuscled. As I said, Terrell May leading the way was in that forward pack.
Yeah.
Did just outmuscle them, outclass them.
I just checked the stats, and Skelton got 241 run meters, and Carraz got 222.
Yeah, and no one else.
The closest to them was Tracy at 140.
Yeah, and none of their forwards cracked 100. In fact, most of them
that's
50.
a telling mark. Apart from Kickow on the bench, he hit 116.
Yes.
Well, he wasn't on the bench.
Yeah,
he played
started.
80, but
right. He
not bad for a first game back. But yeah.
Yeah, that was the tail of the game. It wasn't much more than that, really, to go on. I think Roosters are fine. They're about where they need to be. They just need to get themselves through Origin, and they get a couple of their boys back, or Angus Crichton. And that's it, actually. Yeah. So probably a bit of a wake-up call for the Dogs, and just where they're actually at in the back of the month they've had. But again, they don't have a bad run home, so it wouldn't be panic station.
Was the attack just not there because Drew was involved in the start again? Or?
A little bit. I just think Roosters' defence is pretty good, and I don't think they just have that X factor to crack. When they're able to shut down the halves, and you don't have, apart from kick out, that real X factor elsewhere. They struggled a bit, and it is hard to. No Crichton, he's the other one they look for. I suppose it's hard to throw the ball around and have Connor Tracy do a lot.
And I was going to say they've been playing well because they've been passing the ball around, been a bit expansive. Awfully hard to do that in torrential rain.
Correct, yeah. And Gosford got quite heavy up there. Look, I was tossing up. I'll probably give Terrell May 3 points, Sam Walker 2, and Teddy 1. And we'll move on to Manly 14. South 14, Manly 0, and probably a game we don't need to spend a lot of time on here either, because it was essentially South beating up a reserve grade team when they had Lawton named at halfback, and you sort of went from there. This was
the weather helps Manly.
Yes, this was a very average game of rugby league.
I think if that was a dry Sunday afternoon game, that would have been like a 30-40-0. Manly didn't really look like scoring, and South just tried too much with how wet it was instead of just playing a bit more basic football.
Yes. How good's Colin Matangi going at the
moment? Since he's moved to lock, he's been absolutely amazing. Damien Cook, over the past few weeks, he's almost got back to how good he was when he was playing Origin previously.
Yep.
The White and Walker combination is working, and Jai Gray, he's I know he's stuck behind Latrell, but he definitely seems to he's got a bit of a spark about him. A bit of a ball hog, but that'll come with experience. He's got he's got some speed though. It looks like he's fast, but he needs to just learn when to actually give the pass and when to take the line on. But looks like he's a good talent moving forward for him. But yeah, I still don't think they can make the finals. I know mathematically they can.
I think they need to win 8 or 9 of the last 10.
Something like that. And they need other results going their way. Yeah. They'll probably end up finishing 10 or 11.
They have a decent draw. They do have a decent draw, but a couple of toughies at the end. It could be. I can see it being one of those runs where they get so far down the road and then have to run into a top 4 team, and that derails a lot. But look, I really like Dargay. I agree with what you said. There's still obviously that case that Latrell could easily play centres or 5'8" and be just as dominant. But that's for down the road. And I echo everything you've said. I thought, apart from Colin Matungi, who was just about the best player in the field, it was Kepi had a really good game, probably his best game, at least for South, if not a first grade. And they had good support. Burgess did his usual thing, as well as the other front rower, Moali. Just got them where they had to get to in those conditions. And the centres were serviceable. Tane Milne, probably his best game of the year as well. Back to some of his form a couple of years ago, where he looked like he was going to be the next breakout centre. I what do you even say about Manly? They even their best players had some shockers here. Probably call out a couple of rough moments. I still ran 200 odd metres, and the only bloke I will wrap who's been absolutely outstanding.
They were never expected to win.
No, what we thought would happen, is what happened.
They were missing what, half of their best 13.
Yeah. The only bloke I was going to wrap is Nathan Brown. I think he's having a great season. He led both tackles and runs. Did all that dirty work that no one else was doing, and so I almost sort of give him a point, but you can't. As we've said before, when you're beating up a reserve grade team, what do you take away from it? There's not much. 2 points for Man, 2 points for South, and you move on, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. South done what they needed to do. That's pretty much all that matters for them right now. It doesn't matter by how much they win by; they just need to keep winning every game.
Exactly right. And Bennett coming down. I think Ewan Aitken's coming with him, so some changes afoot there. Yeah, I'm giving Colin Matungi 3, Cook 2, and either Milne or, like I said, Nathan Brown potentially even. But probably Tane Milne had a decent enough game, unless you saw it differently.
Yeah, no. Milne, by far his best game of the year, so give him the 1.
And Sunday, beautiful Sunday afternoon at Campbelltown, 48-24. Tigers made it back-to-back wins against the Raiders. You see this one?
First time in 4 years, I believe, you've won in Campbelltown.
Yeah, it's been 10 games or something since it's happened, but very, very enjoyable. Did you see much of it?
I watched it all. I was hiding behind the couch as I realised that the Eels are now coming last, and I cashed in on my bet that I had for the Eels to get the wooden spoon a couple of weeks ago when it got to like $40 odd. It was $20 bonus bet. I more than doubled my money. I was like, yeah, that'll do. Tigers aren't going to win another game, and they go bang bang and win 2 in a row.
What was it going to pay? Was it 30-1 or something?
It was $20 on, and it was like a $500 collect.
Yeah.
So
now
watch them come last.
They have to cheer for Parramatta so they don't get it. I will get it out of the way. Raiders were not great here. Their attack looked pretty average at times.
From the moment they blew that first try, they just didn't look on.
It felt like that was it. It was just that was the game.
They should have scored off the knock on. They got tackled on the line. Hudson Young decided to go himself. Yeah. He passes either side, and they probably score. And there was
another one where Whitehead did the same thing.
Yes, but then Strange runs 20 metres across, and the winger was unmarked, and he decides to try a ball when Naden was right there.
Yeah.
They blew 3 tries in 30 seconds. I've never seen a team in the NRL blow 3 tries in 30 seconds.
I have, all of them. But yes, 100%. And that was it. That was almost like they just shut the bed and shut up shop after that. They didn't know where they were going to score points until second half, when there was 11 men in the field, 12 men in the field, and Hudson Young, tried a few individual efforts late in the game.
Even he blew a try right at the end on half time.
Yes.
When he went to pass, he would have gone straight over the top of Buller.
Unbelievable that Tigers didn't concede then, because they generally do concede in that last minute.
Hudson Young never passes.
No, that's right.
And the one time he decided to, they don't score.
Yeah, but they were bad. They've now put 2 very ordinary efforts together. There's concern. If Ricky wasn't best mates with all the journos, he'd be questioned every week.
Fun fact today, Ricky Stewart and Brad Arthur have coached exactly the same amount of games since they were both hired in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad Arthur has actually won 2 extra games.
It
gives you an idea.
Wow.
And he's got sacked this year finally, and Ricky just got a 4-year extension.
Amazing, isn't it? Amazing.
When you got friends in the right places.
100%. The Tigers, though, were good. I thought everyone on the field was good. I liked young Luke Lauelili. Very good debut. 18-year-old here. Looked a likely type. But I really like the Fainu brothers. Samuelo just keeps getting better every week. Like I said, I've compared him to Olakuatu in the past. He's obviously still growing, but his confidence in this game, you could see it just growing towards the end. He was putting in grubbers and all sorts of things. But the fact he's almost always leading the kick chase and is capable of jumping makes him very scary at times when they get it right. Stefano, as I mentioned earlier, had another very good game. Appy was brilliant again. Lockie Galvin, great on his return. I thought Caesar's kicking was good. And I was so happy to see Adam Dewey come back and score a try. I thought he had a good game too. And we just went looking
100%.
Went looking for a lot of ball. Was bobbing up everywhere. He's not a bad person to have out there because he got him out of trouble in a couple of last tackles where the halves sort of fluffed their lines. He was able to get decent kicks away, and great to see him score a try. But I thought ticks all across the field. I'm not running out and buying finals tickets or anything, but you can see again it's slightly concerning because the last 2 weeks it's been these young players, almost untainted players, you'd say, come in and put in this effort, and now some of the old boys are fit again. So interested to see who keeps their spots and who doesn't.
It's going to be a tough one on Benji because a few of those boys don't deserve to be dropped, but I think it'll happen.
Oh, I think so too, and their time will come, obviously. But
yeah, definitely.
I like the idea of Dewey and Olam in the centres. I like, and you could even run Clemmer off a bench if he's back this week. You've got Puppy, he's still out for some time, and he might not come back given he's already out the door. Maybe they'll keep biting, keep running with the Fainu boys. Who else is coming? And Bateman coming back. So bits and pieces there. I think if they pick up another 2 or 3 wins for the rest of this, they've got a pretty rough draw now for the next month. But if they keep going in a competitive, I think at least a blowtorch will be off everyone for the next till the end of the year. Now, if they can maybe even jag another 2 wins.
Yeah, it'll be the Roosters coming up this week. It'll be a tough game for you, but
and I think we've got Melbourne or Penrith soon as well.
Yeah, you just don't want to come crashing down too hard.
Correct. So you just enjoy it. Take each win as it comes.
Exactly.
As rare as they are, but very enjoyable effort. And a bit annoyed I didn't take up Dino on the Schooners bet this week, but we both played it safe. I gave 3 points. Who did I give 3 points to? Probably Lockie Galvin. 2 to Appy.
Yeah, I had Galvin, Appy, and the one was a few, but who was the prop? The prop that's the one that scored the try, the third try of the game.
That was Sione Fainu.
I thought he had a really great game off the bench.
Yeah,
personally, whether he deserves a point or not, I don't. But I just thought it was a really good game. Done a few nice little touches throughout the game. But as you said, Stefano could have it.
I actually was giving one to Adam Dewey. I thought
Dewey, from somebody that's had similar surgeries to him, it brought a tear to the eye seeing that try.
Yeah, 440 days off. 3
recos. Give it to him. Yeah. Give it to him.
I was super. He's one of my favourite players, and I hope he gets an extended run of health and hopefully an extended Tigers career. It'd be nice. We'll get our salutes and slaps out of the way. Did you have a pop plant from the weekend?
The Warriors.
Yeah,
it's a bit hard
to single them out.
To single them out. If I had to single an individual from the weekend, it'd be Casey Badger. But if we, but I think the Warriors were even worse than her bunker officiating.
And then, there was a few this weekend. What annoys me, like even going back to that Dolphins game, and it wasn't Casey Badger, but how do they not even know what a strip is anymore?
Well, what annoys me is Graham Annesley keeps coming out and saying they're getting them right.
Yeah, when they just aren't.
Yeah, it's everyone in rugby league saying they're wrong. The commentators are saying they're wrong. The players are saying they're wrong. The fans are saying they're wrong. And Annesley comes out and says, right decision.
Yeah. Well,
nothing's going to change while he's there. I think he is the issue.
I heard him talk about
he needs to go.
The RTS sin bin.
And he said it was the right call.
He said it was the right call because it could have been worse. So they sin binned him on what might have happened, is what he's saying. What the hell does that mean?
That's like the. Are they going to start sin binning players that attempt a trip but actually don't make contact? Because they get warnings at the moment. They only get put on report or whatever if they make contact. So, and is an attempted trip now going to be 10 in the bin? Or if somebody goes for a tackle and they go over the top of a player's head,
Yeah,
is that 10 in the bin because it could have been worse?
I know, but beggars belief. But in that Melbourne game, there was a blatant strip. It was a stripping action at the ball, and apparently it was only affecting a tackle. I think it was Howarth on one of the Dolphins players. But anyway.
The bunker has the potential to be so helpful within the game, but as long as the bunker's main job is to just keep looking after what the call is that the refs made, it's not being used properly.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially on tries, the bunker should only have 30 seconds, and that's it. It shouldn't be trying to. If you can't prove or disprove a try, more so, then it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Then that's it. Move on.
But yeah, it feels like the last couple of weeks there's been multiple captains' challenges that should have been overturned and haven't, just to make it look like the refs made the right choice.
Well, what was the one? I think I'm thinking it was Jesse Bromwich, the captain's challenge.
Yep.
It was a strip, and it was a strip, and it just they don't even bother looking at
it.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. I suppose I'm going to give it to. Well, you went with the Warriors. I'll give it to South's pop plan of the week. Not South's. The team they played, the Sea Eagles. Yeah, they had less than zero in attack, and interestingly enough, it's probably a big game that Luke Brooks should have produced more and didn't. Anyway, I don't really have a slap. Let's just go with the bunker and move on. Do you have one?
Yeah, we've. Wait, who did we do first? Wasn't that the slaps first?
Or
we done pop plants first?
But whatever. Yeah, same.
But yeah, so the pop plant, we both slapped the bunker. You pop planted South, I pop planted the Warriors.
Yeah. I'm going to salute.
That'll work.
I'm going to salute Adam Dewey, as we said. 400 days off, came back, had a good game. Match ending try. I was happy for him, and in the old stage of Kieran Foran. Very, very impressive.
That's literally who I was about to take.
Oh, go
I
on.
was about to say Kieran Foran.
Go for it.
He played, arguably, the best game he's played in a Titans jersey. Best game he's probably played in a couple of seasons. That was a great game for Foran. That was it. I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint other individual players when the Tigers back-to-back first win. I guess you could give them a salute as well. When is the last time you've won back-to-back?
Earlier this year.
Was it early this year, wasn't it? It was early this year, but it's you've done it twice?
Yeah.
Will you do it a third time?
Well, last time we won 2 in a row, we lost the next 9, so let's not get carried away. A bye would be lovely. I think we won around 19.
Well, you still haven't lost at Leichhardt this year.
That's true. And
that was something else I've seen in the news during the week. You guys will do anything but play at Leichhardt. So apparently you're moving a home game next year to have. There's going to be a mini Magic round. It's the SFS or whatever they call it.
Well, I was actually reading about that, and I like the idea, but they're doing it on 3 different days. Like, isn't
I have no idea, but apparently
that was what I read. But if you
the part I read was Tigers going to move a home game.
They are, yes. You're right. I'll get back to that. But when I read mini Magic, wouldn't the logic be if you're going to do a mini Magic round, wouldn't you try and sell out ANZ on a Saturday arvo? Like do 3 games in a row all at ANZ?
100%.
No, well, apparently they're trying to do a core 3 days in a row, which isn't that just a normal?
Makes no sense.
Isn't that just a normal round of rugby league?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. If
they did, because they used to. I don't know if you remember back in high school, they used to do the double headers at ANZ or a court, whatever it is now, whatever. Homebush is. And we used to go out all the time. It'd just be like Friday night, and you'd get, Canberra and Tigers and Bulldogs and St George or something. But it used to draw, and I would be off.
That's how you get those low games to have a bigger crowd.
Yes.
Yeah, you have 2 or 3 games at the same stadium.
Yeah.
Where the 3 away sides normally don't bring a crowd. But by having 3 games, it's like, oh crap, this is worth it. I'm going to go to this because I'm going to get 3 games. I'm going to get my team plus 2 other matches.
100%. I would go. I would take my kids out there. I would go to something like that. So
Yeah, but three games at
3 games at over 3 days at a core doesn't really.
hasn't that happened at like Combank already?
Well, they do it all,
Hasn't
yeah.
there been like a Thursday, Friday, Sunday or something like that at Combank
Well, I think
before?
they've done Easter. Didn't they do like Friday night and then had and it's going to happen
Friday,
again because
Sunday, Monday or
and
something.
it's going to happen again because Penrith are going there.
Yeah, so it's just that's not a mini Magic round. That's just
Yeah,
3 games at a stadium.
exactly. So I think let's double down and do it all in one day. But to your point, yes, the Tigers are. I believe they're giving up a home game for Magic Round, a home game for the Accor game, and then they're going to do 4 and 4 at or 3 and 3 at Leichhardt and Campbelltown, or 3 at Leichhardt and the other way.
Yeah,
at
because
Campbelltown.
you got to take one out bush.
Yeah. Well, they're dropping that,
Yeah.
but they're taking it.
Oh,
I think they're dropping that, but they're going to pick up the Accor game. I think.
okay, fair enough.
I did read the strategic plan. It sort of made sense, but I feel
they do it for money. At the end of the day, they do it for money.
Yeah, exactly right. But if you're gonna,
you know, if all of a sudden everyone wanted to pay $500 a ticket to go to Leichhardt, they'd play every game at Leichhardt.
Yep, 100%. So, and if they had some toilets and could fit more than 12,000 there.
We'll give it time. 40 million should go a long way.
We'll see where that goes to tender, eh?
Let's see how long it takes to finish.
Anyway, we've got to head down to the MCG for Origin 2. New South Wales taking their home game there against Queensland, obviously. And we'll have a quick look through. So Dylan Edwards comes back in for Teddy. Latrell named at centre. He replaces Suwali, and Mitch Moses replaces Nico. Jake Travojevic captain again. Reece Robson keeps his spot. And Cam Murray sort of gets choppered back in here. I was slightly surprised. Choppered back in at 13. We'll come back to him in a sec. And Connor Watson at 14. The rest is unchanged from game 1. Look, I don't know what more AU has to do to get a starting lock spot, but obviously Madge is a big fan of Cam Murray. What do you make of the New South Wales changes, first of all?
Edwards, always going to happen. Mitchell, always going to happen. Moses, always going to happen.
I don't know if Latrell was always going to happen, but it was pretty irresistible. I mean, I would have picked him first. I would
have picked him first game.
Yeah, even off
Queenslanders would have picked him first game, and they don't want to play him.
Well, it's been
like that's telling you.
He's been all
you know what I mean?
They've talked about.
Connor Watson is a weird one, especially has he been selected to play hooker, or is it the fact he can play hooker but he can also play as an outside back, and that's the utility?
I think the comparison I saw was Craig Wing, which suggests he's going to be more of an anywhere player rather than a 9.
Because Burden, I think he's hard done by.
And maybe it's a lack of utility for him. I know I know he's premiership winning centre, and I know he's I know he's currently playing quite well at half, but can't really work anywhere else apart from there. Whereas I suppose Connor Watson has played back row, can play 6 or 7, can defend the centres.
And again, Mitch Barnett, I think he's just unlucky to miss out. He has been playing some really great football. He still might get a chance. Liam Martin's still not 100%. He's got turf toe. No idea what turf toe is.
I've had turf toe. It's particularly unpleasant, but that's inflamed, basically inflamed joint.
So he's got that.
He'll play. He'll be needled up. He'll be right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was going to say I wouldn't change the bench, so to speak. If Martin's out, I'd have Barnett straight into that starting side and leave Olakawadu on the bench with Yo and Leniu. Or if he was out, would they move Murray to an edge? I don't know.
Maybe that's why they've done it. They've got to give him that extra. Murray will end up on an edge anyway, and Yo plays an hour in the middle or something.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but
the Robson one's interesting.
It's $1.92 each, so it's a lot closer. You haven't read the Queensland side. Do you want to read that now?
Yeah, just very quickly. I was just going to say, I think Robson's service was particularly good in game 1, but obviously Madge likes him, and we're now down the path where there's no point picking Appy for game 3, so they may as well stick with it.
It would have been interesting if that Tigers result happened the week prior.
That's true. I would almost, if you're going to pick Connor Watson, I'd almost have just picked him at 9 and played McGuinness.
Yeah.
or Barnett. But yeah,
The,
if you want utility, I guess McGuinness. But yeah,
but that's what I mean. It's just I don't know.
Queensland, no Hopgood,
Um,
no Selwyn, Cobbo, Hammer moves back to the centres. And it's all been a bit of a mystery around Selwyn. Reece Walsh obviously comes back into the team, and Kurt Capel is now dragged up to play off the bench. Dane Gagai, 18th man, who, if anything goes wrong, may well.
yeah. So Kafusi's come in, and Capel's come in because Kafusi was the 18th
Kofusi's
man.
18th man, of course. So Hopgood and
Yeah.
Hopgood Cobbo out for
Hopgood
Kofusi
yeah.
and Capel.
Cobbo said, I think if I was reading it right, he's mentally drained or something. It was like he was. It was an odd one. It's like he's not injured, but
some
playing...
cop out from Billy. I don't. There's
yeah,
more to the story,
and
but
Hopgood missed the last Eels game as well. I think it was
back. I think
was it a hammy?
Hammy
Back, lower back.
Yeah.
So,
but what you see is what you get. Look, yeah, Queensland is still scary. It's a better New South Wales side, I suggest, but does that give him any hope?
It can't be as bad. Put it that way. I don't see New South Wales giving away a head high penalty within the first 15 minutes.
They'll try not to, no. But now you've knocked
not intentionally anyway.
Yeah, now I can't wait for Latrell to get sent off here. Thanks.
Yeah, Latrell. Yeah, 2 minutes in, shoulder charge or something. Yeah. If they do, it'll be on the back of Latrell and Crichton, the edges.
Well, when was that last real success one? Is when Latrell and Tommy carved up in the centres, wasn't
it? Yeah. And so it'll be on that. It'll be a mixture of that with the kicking game is going to be huge between DCE and Moses. That will be big. But again, they've got Hunt and Grant out of hooker, where Robson just doesn't seem to have that kicking game. Lomax and Toto back with Edwards. They could all finish in the, high 150 plus, potentially the 200. So you've got three really good guys at the back now that are all arguably in career best form. Walsh, it'll be interesting to see how he comes back. Hasn't played, obviously, since the head knock. Does he come back a bit jittery, or do you think he'll hit the ground running? He'll be right. He pretty much knows that he won't be tackled high this game.
That's right. He came off a smashed face at the start of the year, and he's been fine. So
yeah. What do you think of the two that they did bring in, though? Kafusi, who did play last game due to the injury, and Capewell. What do you think of those two selections?
Well,
because now they don't have that back on the bench.
Look, if you're Dave Fafita, you're probably asking questions, asking how you're ever going to play for Queensland, because he's been in pretty good form. The official word is they want someone who can play centres, and I guess he trusts Capewell. But if we're taking that at face value, that is utility, okay. Yeah, I would have thought there's more explosive options. I would have thought even a Ewan Aitken, even a Beau Fermor, both in better form.
Than 100%.
Than what Kurt Capel's been, but I guess Billy's got his blokes that he trusts.
Is Kafusi there as the second rower?
Yes. Yeah. The funny thing is he's the only one, isn't he? So he probably ends up in the middle. Because Mo ended up playing pretty big minutes game one. So Cotter might shift in onto an edge or even into lock to rotate those big boys. Assuming Sewer Nanai go close to playing 80, and they rotate through the middle there. Yeah, interesting. Look,
it'll be close. I'm not confident enough to say we're going to win.
No, neither am I.
But it'll be close.
I'm still not quite sure what New South Wales' game plan will be. It's like there's not a standout. When it all comes down to it, Luai and Moses are quite similar in terms that they run first halfbacks a lot of times. They both like skipping across field and trying to look for, which does set up better for Angus Crichton, who just was nickoed out of the game in game one, admittedly one short, but they just don't feel like the right halves combination and hooker combination to really get the best out of Dylan Edwards.
Well, yeah, that'll be the interesting thing. Moses is definitely far more controlling than what Nico will be. so
Yeah.
that might keep Luai to one side. Moses loves his short side play. Now, is the right centre that was Crichton to start the game
Yeah. And then he swapped.
before the swap? I don't know if that is what it's going to be, but whoever that right centre is, I can see Moses setting up. That short side play, him and Toto, whether it's Latrell or Crichton at right centre. I can see a few short side plays coming down that side, but even that he can go to the other side, get involved. But yeah, I don't know. Does Moses just be the first man to pass to then get it to Edwards?
Probably.
He's just like the link man, so to speak.
Probably.
And that's how they get Edwards in.
Yeah. Look,
Moses to Luai with Edwards on his outside, something that he's used to at Panthers.
Dylan Edwards is a fantastic Penrith Panthers fullback. I just don't feel like he's the X factor. He's not Reece Walsh. He's probably not James Tedesco. Though.
No.
Yeah, and maybe if Tom Travojevic was fit, he'd be the number one. But I'm really interested how those 3 and 4 combine. Maybe there's just lots of kicking to Crichton and Lomax, given they're so good in the air. Maybe there's just get the ball to Latrell and off we go. I don't know.
At the end of the day, that has to be the game plan. Kicking high for all, pretty much those 3, but Latrell needs to be getting the ball with the opposition 15 metres away from him, not on top of him.
Yes, yeah. And that then...
And Crichton's the same for that. Crichton's, if you can give Crichton early ball, like there's a reason he's arguably the best centre in the game right now. 100%. He can just sum up a situation so beautifully.
On paper, it's almost advantage New South Wales in those centres, 3/4, wingers, but it never plans out that way, really.
No.
So
and
I think we get
the one thing I think they've got over us still. I think their backs are faster.
Oh yeah,
I might be wrong, but or Hammer obviously, but I just feel like they do have more speed.
Yes, if you were to line up all of the 1 through 5s in a 100-metre sprint, I reckon the first 3 home are Queenslanders.
Yeah, we've gone the power game. They've gone pace.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be high. Well, we see what you get. It's gonna be high leg speed. Crichton, Martin, Murray, Yo digging the line, trying to just open up a little bit. Olakwatu was good game 1. You get what we get, and Spencer will come on in 20 minutes in and try and bash the door down. Just see what they bring on the other side. It's going to be the same game plan they've gone with for 3 years. Queensland, I think they're going to get the job done. I'm going to stick with Queensland 1 to 12, but as you said, this is New South Wales will obviously need to win to keep the series alive, but this is their best chance to win here. And let's go for a straight sweep. Man of the series, DCE. I think his kicking game will just edge out Moses. The bigger spaces of Melbourne. They keep telling us that New South Wales have a great record in Melbourne, but you don't put much stock in that. And we'll go first try score, at least for me, with the hammer again.
I'm gonna have to be nice to the Blues this time. I'm going Dylan Edwards first try scorer, Latrell Mitchell man of the match. Blues 1 to 12. Better be like 1 to 6. We're not going to blow them away.
No.
But yeah, I can see against Latrell.
Apparently,
you'll know within 5 minutes.
Apparently, I heard on the radio, 60+% of the money for man of the match is on Latrell. He's been backed from like $26 into 13s or something. He's probably shorter now.
You'll probably know within 5 minutes.
I think he'll be up for it, given it's the story. It feels like the whole story of this game is El Mitchell.
His redemption story, so to speak. So the only issue with that is, does he try too hard?
Yeah, we'll see.
That can be the problem. But
or put some
in saying that,
but yeah, start throwing people
as a centre. If you try too hard as a centre, it just means your winger doesn't get the ball as much. It's not like someone that's in the middle that will hog the ball.
Yeah,
more so. So yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be better than game 1 at least.
For sure. Well, 12 cripples down the field, it has to be, doesn't it? Yeah, exciting. We'll be back to talk about all of this Thursday. We'll have a quick review and we'll preview round 17. I don't know if you're free or I need to find someone else. One of those things.
No. I'll be free. It's
Perfect.
all good.
All right.
We're good to go.
Beautiful. So we're back then, guys. Anything else you want to finish on?
No, that's it. Look forward to the game, and I'll chat to you again soon.
Beauty. Keep.
Thanks for having me on.
No, pleasure as always. Leave us some feedback below, like Riley did. Wish the Tigers some luck on the weekend. Appreciate that. And Queenslander and some Eel Lee and some friends of the show very said some nice things earlier in the week. So appreciate all of that. Leave us some feedback. Find us on socials, and we'll look forward to doing it all again. Catch you guys.